Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad that you've joined us today. We want you to know your soul is in the right place at the right time, and we're going to sing about it.
That's right, just where you're meant to be, whether you're live streaming or here in person. Let's sing about how everyone is welcome here.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
And we have Reverend Deborah and Reverend Janee, and they're going to talk about our greatest good today. You're in for a treat.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul, your soul, my soul. We are welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 Oh, my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Reverend Janee. Thank you for sharing the platform with me this morning.
Good morning, Reverend Deborah. My pleasure. We have folks coming in and hugging and kissing. I love that whole vision. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Reverend Janee.
Thank you. We greet you today in the name of all that is good and all that is sacred and all that is holy, and in the warm and loving energy of this spiritual community, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples and mosques and churches, stone circles, and the beautiful temples of nature, because we know that there is no space that God does not grace. And as we say with our kids, there is no spot where God is not. So we welcome you here today. And if it's your first time joining us, either in person or online, we especially welcome you because we know you're here not by accident, but by divine appointment. So I just want to remind you to silence your electronic devices and that there is no flash photography during our service. Thank you.
And we've noticed that we continue to have different things that are calling us to be our higher selves. And so as we move into our prayer this morning, I've asked Reverend Janee to share the prayer with me. So if you'll take a breath and focus in your heart center. Lord, make us instruments of your peace. Where there is hatred, let us sow love.
Where there is injury, pardon.
Where there is discord, union.
Where there is doubt, faith.
Where there is despair, hope.
Where there is darkness, light.
Where there is sadness, joy.
Grant that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to console.
To be understood as to understand.
To be loved as to love.
For it is in giving that we receive.
It is in pardoning that we are pardoned.
And it is in releasing that we awaken to eternal life. In Divine Spirit, we give thanks for the opportunity to be here together today, to share this prayer, to share this time together, and know that each one of us is walking into and accepting our highest good. And so it is. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. So whether you are new or you've been with Spiritual Life Center for a while.
I think we should do these other two things first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I just jump right in
We're
there,
just so
don't I?
excited about all the things that are happening. So we have a mission here at Spiritual Life Center, and we like to say our mission statement together. To transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And the way that we carry out that mission is through the 5 unity principles. And these are something that are really good to integrate into our own consciousness, as well as gives us something to talk about when people ask what it is that you believe and what are you doing in your own spiritual life. So let's say these together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action. Action.
Action. So whether you're new or if you've been with Spiritual Life Center for a while, our board members, Sally Sion and Josie Johnson, invite you to attend our community member information session this afternoon after service from 1 to 2:30 today. And it's for us to get to know each other better. It's a casual information session. You'll learn more about SLC, its programs and services, as well as ways that you can forge a deeper connection with the ministry and our mission to transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. You can attend either in person or via Zoom, and there are sign-ups out at the hub, or all of the Zoom information can be found online.
And we're really excited to add another small group to our list of activities, starting this Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Let's see, this Tuesday, June 28th, at 1 o'clock. Wanda McGuire will be facilitating a codependent discussion group. Now, this is not a recovery group, it is a discussion group. She was certified for many years and is retired, so she's just doing talking about it now. But she'd love to see you if you're interested in either learning about codependence or working on some of your own stuff. And so it will be from 1 to 2:30 in the annex, and they will be meeting weekly. So check it out. And Paula, you have something very exciting for us.
I do.
You do?
I always strive to have exciting things for you. And so the exciting thing Deborah's speaking about is Wednesday, July 6th, we're going to have Matt Venuti visit us again. He is on a cross-country tour, and he called me and said, hey, I've got to go between the Bay Area and Shasta. How about I stop in Sacramento? Just give a little listen to some of his music. That instrument is called the hung drum. It's kind of like a steel drum type of instrument. It's a gorgeous instrument. And he mixes that with a lot of other very cool, unique instruments. And he has added a new element to it now, which is visual element, where he improvises to film footage, video footage of shots that he's taken from his touring across the country. So if you don't get a chance to go out of town for the 4th of July weekend, you can come here on July 6th on Wednesday night and have your own cross-country tour with music to go with it. It's a beautiful program. I encourage you all to go online and register for it, and we'll see you there. I hope many of you do. We do have a cancellation option with him if we don't get a certain amount of tickets. So I hope you will. I hope you will invite your friends to come. It'll be a wonderful evening. So please go register for that. Thank you.
And isn't July 3rd, like you should have your ticket by July 3rd?
Oh, yeah, by July 3rd.
July 3rd, yes. So, I love this guy. I just love the guy on the slide. So we'll thank those of you who have already answered the call to be the casting call for the upcoming Friday, July 29th Cabaret. You can, to the rest of you, mark your calendars for this entertaining evening. And some of our entertainers will have Larry Shiflett, and then Jennifer and Chris Enright have signed up to be part of it. There's going to be skits, there's going to be poetry readings, group sing-alongs, and who knows what else that they're going to come up with. I'm just waiting to see. Every time I talk with Elaine, it's something new. You know, the social hour starts at 6, and then the cabaret starts at 7. And you can contact Elaine if you are still interested in performing, because I think there's a couple of slots. And if you want to volunteer, because of course we always need volunteers to keep going, check it out with Pat Harvey and let her know that you'd like to help out with that event. Ticket sales go live next weekend. The information will be on our website by midweek, so stay tuned and check out the website. Oh, you can find your piece of paper.
So I just want to follow that up by saying that our teen youth band will be making its debut at that cabaret. So, yeah, we're excited about that. So I haven't given you a youth update in a couple of months because I have been gone, and my trip to Egypt was amazing. It was everything that I hoped it would be and more, and I want to just extend a huge thank you. Joella was at our first service, and I see Janee here at second service. Both Joella and Janee really stepped up and stepped in to help our youth ed department while I was gone, so thank you. Thank you so much. Last month when I got back, the first thing I did was I attended the spring rally with our teenagers in Sonora, California. And it was the first time that we met at a real retreat center since before COVID, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful for our teens, and it was wonderful for us. And I have a feeling that it was super wonderful for Lisa and Michael Lawson, who had opened up their home and property for our last two rallies until we could get back into a regular retreat center. So I just want to thank them again for all the ways that they are committed to this mission and to our teens, and for doing that for us while we could not meet in a regular retreat center. At Spring Rally, what our kids do is they elect the regional officers for the coming year. Last year, Liam Lawson was one of our elected regional officers, and what they do is they create these rallies and they present the rally to their peers, and it's really quite powerful. So this rally was Liam's last rally as a leader. He stepped down at this rally, but the exciting news, and he did a fabulous job. I just want to give him a little hand of applause for that. But yes, so proud of him. But I also have exciting news that two of our teens, both Kiki Crawford and Becky McPhee, were elected as officers for this coming year. And yeah, so it's exciting how involved our kids are in the region, and I'm so proud of them, and I really can't wait to see what they create in this coming year. In July, Michael Lawson and I are going with two of our teens to the International YOU at Unity Village. This is a rally where our kids meet with kids all over the country and even all over the world. And again, this is their first in-person rally since COVID, so our teens are very excited to be going to that, and me too. So that happens on June the 10th that we leave, so keep us in your prayers around that, and I know we're going to have a blast. We've postponed our Friday night teen meetups for the summer. We have a lot of teens that are traveling, our sponsors are traveling, and so we're taking the summer off, and we will reconvene in the fall with those meetup groups. Our lessons in both YOU and for our younger kids throughout the summer will continue to be our basic principles. We have a lighter crew of kids and staff during the summer, so we'll bring in something new in the fall when our kids return as well. And I really wanted to just do a quick shout out to Anna Hernandez, who works in our nursery, and she's here every Sunday, and the kids adore her, and I'm just so grateful to have her. And we hired her kind of in a contractor status, and we will be bringing her on as a regular employee soon because she's just been wonderful. So I'm really happy about that. And I want to just end by thanking all of you who continue to drop jewelry off to me. I get these little bags here and there, and it's just wonderful. And we will be doing another jewelry sale in November, and for those of you that don't know about that, we ask our congregation to kind of go through their jewelry boxes, and if there's anything they're not wearing anymore or don't like, they donate it to the church, and then we have this really fun big jewelry sale that everybody loves, and all the proceeds go to our youth. So stay tuned for more with a specific date on that, but thank you. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for all the ways that you support our youth here at Spiritual Life Center. Thank you. Oh, and just remember, the way to find out what's happening at Spiritual Life Center is to go to our website. You can also, there's a bulletin board right out here in the courtyard you can check, and you can sign up for any events at our hub right across from there.
And I do want to thank you, Reverend Janee, for heading up the entire family ministry. I mean, that's a big job, and really appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you. Bless your heart. Thank you.
Will our Board of Trustees and prayer chaplains please stand? Our Board of Trustees wear purple ribbons on their name tags so that you can find them easily, and their job is to... I'm sorry, I got completely lost. They wear the purple ribbons on their badges, and they are here to guide, share, and provide oversight for our community operations. And they are the people that if you want to know more about SLC, go find them, and they will be glad to chat with you. And our prayer chaplains, they're here to hold you in confidential prayer in times of joy and in times of challenge, and they will be in the courtyard ready to pray with you after the service should you desire.
And we love to welcome our newcomers. Do we have any newcomers here this morning? I guess not. We're all family here this morning, which is wonderful. There's many ways to connect at Spiritual Life Center, and you all know that. You can connect in the courtyard or on the website. So welcome, everyone. And let's all stand up and greet each other.
Invite you to stay standing and join us in singing our group song written by Richard Burdick. I'm waking up. Are you awake? Is everyone awake? Ready to wake up together to the power of our mind? Waking up to the power within us to create whatever we want every day. Let's do it together. Join us in singing.
I'm waking up to the power of my mind. I'm waking up to me. I'm waking up to the power of my mind. And in this power, I'm set free. I'm waking up. I'm waking up to the power of my mind. I'm waking up to me. I'm waking up to me. I'm waking up to the power of my mind. And in this power, I'm set free. Oh, life can be good. Oh, life can be sweet. Oh, life can be good. And it's all up to me. I'm waking up. I'm waking up to the power of my mind. I'm waking up to me. I'm waking up to the power of my mind. And in this power, I'm set free. Whoa, life can be good. Oh, life can be sweet. Oh, life can be good. And it's all up to me. Whoa, life can be good. Whoa, life can be sweet. Oh, life can be good. And it's all up to me. I'm waking up. I'm waking up to the power of my mind. I'm waking up to me. Yeah, yeah. I'm waking up to the power of my mind. And in this power, I'm set free. And in this power, and in this power, I'm set free. And in this power, and in this power, I'm set free. Oh, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom.
Are we awake? Yes. And to borrow a line from Monty Python, and now for something completely different. Anne said merely a flesh wound. Let's take a nice deep breath together. All right, now let's drop right down into our heart space and let's speak together our vision statement. Spiritual Lives Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet.
And now, in preparation for meditation, we invite you to take a nice deep breath and settle into your chair and join us in singing this beautiful chant, spirit chant.
As we move into this time of meditation, let's breathe together. Feeling the vibration of that beautiful chant. I am spirit. I am holy. I am sacred. I am love. I am. I am. Breathe that in, feeling the truth of those words resonating deep within you. This symphony of your soul. Breathing in and breathing out. Allowing your breath to calm your body and your mind. With each breath, relaxing. With each breath, softening. Your entire nervous system letting go into the harmony of your breath. And as you breathe, bring your attention to your heart, that beautiful heart space in the center of your chest, and begin breathing through your heart. Breathing in and breathing out. Resting here, feel the sacredness of this precious heart space. As you breathe through your heart, feel yourself connecting with every heart in this room. Feel yourself in alignment with the rhythm of the universal heart. You're immersed in God's heart. We are one heart, one mind, one spirit, one. As we experience your love at depth, God, our entire being remembers this loving presence from which it came. Each cell in this incredible body remembers wholeness, remembers oneness, remembers love. And as we rest in this heart space, our spiritual eyes open. We see past appearances to the truth. We no longer look to the world for stability. because we see there's no stability in the world. It's always changing and moving and dying and rebirthing. Our stability, our strength, is the essence of God within us. This essence of God that is changeless, timeless, that which never dies. This love is always here, fully present, right here, always. It's closer than the beating of your heart. Trust this love to guide you, to move you, to love through you. You're here to love. It's all our presence knows. Just like the sun's only purpose is to shine, God's purpose is to love through you and through me. And what is yours to love? You need look no further than who and what God has placed before you. If you see it, it's yours to love. And if it triggers you, it's really yours to love. Instead of shutting down, bring it in. Bring it into that beautiful heart of yours. You don't have to hold it. Your heart is the altar to God's heart. And as you bring it into your heart, it is warmly welcomed and received into the heart of God. As we build our spiritual muscles and love it all, you attract your highest good. Overwhelm is transformed. You're more alive in the world. Miracles abound. You're here to love. As we take a moment in the silence, rest here, warmly held in the love of your Creator, the love of your God. Here we are, God. Love through us. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And so it is. Amen.
Spirit is flowing, Spirit is moving, the greatest good into my life. By faith I believe it, with joy I receive it, the greatest expression of good in my life. Spirit is flowing, Spirit is flowing, Spirit is moving, Spirit is moving, the greatest good into my life, By faith I believe it, by faith I believe it, with joy I receive it, the greatest expression of good in my life. I never dreamed that I would have a life as rich as mine. Spirit just keeps revealing new treasures for me to find. And Spirit is flowing, Spirit is flowing, oh, Spirit is moving, Spirit is moving, the greatest good into my life. By faith I believe it, with joy I receive it, the greatest expression of good in my life, the greatest expression of good in my life.
Thank you, music team, as always, pretty amazing. Spirit is moving, streaming things into our lives, and I had proof of this morning. Didn't have the easiest start to the morning, and I got in the car and I had the bluegrass station on, and this song was playing, and it was, "Everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die." And I laughed at that, and it was like, thank you, Spirit. It's like, thank you for making me laugh the whole 5 minutes I had to drive to church. And but then I got to thinking about it. But honestly, that's what we actually teach here: is that it is the way we think and how we live our lives that makes this heaven on earth. So it was like, about what we're teaching, but you just don't know it. So we all want to go to heaven, but we don't want to die yet, okay? So a few minutes ago, we read our 5 unity principles together. And today, the most important one that I'm going to be talking about is that people are inherently good. And it's interesting to me that we live in a world where we have to affirm that goodness for ourselves and for others. We have to develop our ability to accept good. And golly, you'd think that would be sort of automatic. It's like, oh yes, that's my good, I'll take 2, please. But for some reason, that's not how it works with most of us. Of course, it helps if we understand what good means. What does that word really mean? Are we talking about good versus bad, or are we talking about it being quantitative? Now, quantitative, I knew an Episcopal priest who oversaw keeping of a track of the weekly attendance at that church. And when there were a lot of people there, he would report the actual numbers. And when it wasn't quite so full, he would simply say we had a goodly number. And, many years later, I'm still wondering, what the heck is a goodly number? Apparently enough to make us feel comfortable, but not as many as we wanted. I don't know. So every once in a while, so someone asked me around here, it's like, well, what's going on? I'll just say a goodly number and just run like heck. Okay, so Charles Fillmore defines good as the absolute, the incomparable, that which is godly in character. God is omnipresent, all good. And he also says that good is a state of consciousness. And each time we project thoughts that accord with that we agree with that state of goodness, that's how we create our own heaven. He also talks about hell in there, but I didn't want to talk about that today, as was told to me by Spirit on the way in here. Emma Curtis Hopkins puts it a slightly different way. It adds to what Fillmore says. He said, the good which you and I want governs every single thing we do. Therefore, the good which you are seeking is your God. We are always seeking our good. And she says, Spinoza was called the God-intoxicated man because he spoke the word God so much. Now, this is Emma Curtis Hopkins speaking. She says, I am convinced that if he had spoken the word good instead of the word God, he would have come into a nearer relation to God. Like, no matter what we are doing, we are seeking good for ourselves. And she says, she gets very specific. She says, if you move your hand, you are seeking your good. And I can see that. It's like if my hand's in an awkward position, I move it out, I move it so it's more comfortable, so I'm seeking my good that way. But very frankly, no matter what I'm doing it for my good. She also uses the example of breathing, is that we breathe for our good. However, I quibble with that because breathing is not voluntary. It's not even unconsciously voluntary. So I don't think that counts. I think that's just something that we do. But everything that we do, every movement that we make, everything is us seeking our own good in one way or another. Now, obviously, there's a lot of unconscious good seeking going on. Because we're not really thinking. I'm not thinking, well, I'm going to get up, and go into the other room and do laundry for my good. But I need to do the laundry. And we have these daily routines where we eat and sleep and work and do errands and chores. And all of those are ways that we are actually seeking our good. And they're usually necessary, but we don't always think of those activities in that way. And most of us only really start talking about finding our good when we are unhappy about something, right? And we are proclaiming it to be not good. But our everyday mundane activities are a direct outpouring of our consciousness, which means that we are in control of our personal good. And we seem to need to learn to do this. We need to learn how to connect with and bring in our good on a personal level. That's how we stay healthy, happy, connected. It's something we have to learn because the messages that come from the outside world are so often the ones telling us that we are not inherently good. We decide that we are undeserving of the good that we want and need because we have forgotten who we are and where we came from. A way to start to work with this is to discover what you mean by your personal good and then ask for it. If you want some ice cream and you go stand in front of the counter and you look at all the flavors through the little glass, well, that's cool, yeah, but there are two things here. First of all, you have to decide what you want. 1 or 2 flavors, maybe 3 on a good day. And then you need to ask for it. Otherwise, you will stand there forever looking at the 42 glorious flavors behind that glass. The server is not going to do your work for you. Their only job is to deliver your order. So is good a physical thing? Is it an emotional or psychological thing? Is it spiritual? Well, yes, it's all of those things. Good is all of that. And we catch the good from any aspect that we want to work in. And it doesn't really matter where you start. The goal is to fully connect with absolute good, Spirit, God. But of course, if you really start to connect, trying to connect with the absolute, that might feel a little bit overwhelming at the beginning. So you start with something simple like, what do I want in my life? What do I need as good right now? What is good for me? What do I need in my life to become my highest and best self? When you ask in this way, you invite a high spiritual energy that will guide you and show you the way. I think we get pretty confused with this idea of what is good for us. We have all these rules about what we should eat, how we should exercise, what we should read, who we should spend our time with, a long list of shoulds. And you know the old saying of shoulding on yourself. So it's when we really stop and listen to ourselves and observe what is going on in our lives that we start to find out what our personal good really is. Now, I was once in an extremely challenging and stressful job, and I needed to quit for my own good, for my health, for my sanity. But there was another employee who begged and cajoled me to stay for their benefit. They loved me, they wanted me there, and they kept saying, Deborah, you can do this, you can do this. And I did stay for a few more months. And when I left, it was emotionally catastrophic, and I was physically undone. I ended up with a very, fortunately, light case of shingles. It took me a long time to recover myself from that experience. And later, the woman even told me, she said she realized that just because you can do something and just because you can do it well does not mean you should or have to. And this was when I learned that no is a complete sentence. And it's why those of you who don't see, those of you who see that I do a lot, and sometimes people kind of worry that I'm going to do myself in, I can promise you, I will never, ever let a job make me sick again. So, you know. So rest easy. Obviously, this personal good is a subjective thing. Her personal good and my personal good, you know. Since what I saw for good for me, the coworker saw as not good for her. And that brings us to the other question. Is my seeking my good just a selfish endeavor and just a way of hurting other people? Well, of course, that can be twisted in a negative way, but what we're talking about here is taking care of yourself and living the best life that you can live. And this brings us to the thing that I mentioned a few minutes ago, and that's deservability. All of these messages that we have heard growing up, that some of us still hear, that tell us we are not good enough, we decide that we don't deserve to have good in our lives. You know, there's a meme that shows up on social media from time to time, and it's some sweet image of a video of an animal, and it's usually a dog doing something really cute and adorable, and the tag says, "We don't deserve dogs." And every time I see one of those, when I'm home alone, I actually yell at the screen. It's like, yes, we do. That's why they're here. We deserve that love. We do. It just, I know they can't hear me, but it makes me feel better. We deserve love. We deserve to be treated well. We deserve all the gifts of this world. Just because we have forgotten who and what we are, just because we get sidetracked does not mean that our inherent divinity and goodness is gone. We come into this earthly experience wrapped in good. Think of babies. They're just wrapped in good. And then we encounter the material world. We have experiences that color our vision. We see the different aspects of the world and forget that at the core, at the very core of us is the immutable, absolute good. You know, it's kind of like our souls are playing dress up. We come into these bodies and we are who we are, and then we put on our personalities, and some people put on more than one personality. And there's these costumes and these scenes, and they're so realistic that we forget our true selves. Fortunately, someone or some circumstance will come along and remind us so we can begin to remove that costume and remember ourselves. That is when we start to realize what our good really is. There are so many ways that good comes into our lives from all directions. All we need to do is to ask for it, recognize it, accept that good. Understanding that good is a way to call God into your life is a very high spiritual principle. As Hopkins says, Spinoza might have felt closer to the divine had he called on his good rather than on his God. Well, why? Because God is this big, unseeable, unfathomable something. I mean, can you really comprehend the idea of the absolute? I can't. And then there's the fact that the word God carries a lot of baggage for many, many people. And I sort of thought that this was a fairly new situation from maybe mid-20th century, that God had become such a loaded word. But Charles Fillmore even talks about this in one of his books, and I don't remember which one, but it was in the 1930s or 40s. He was talking about how people had a difficult time with the word God even then. And that tells you a lot. Because words are our way of expressing ourselves in our world. If a word doesn't mean anything to us, or it has a negative meaning, then we will not make any progress in improving our circumstances or changing our thinking. So if a person has an allergy to the word God, you can talk all day and all night, but they're never going to connect with it. Everyone can connect with the word God, the word good, in one way or another. They may not be in a place where they believe they can have good in their lives, but at least good does not carry the image of a judgmental dude hanging out in the clouds waiting for us to mess up. I can imagine pure good, something completely without malice. I can imagine that. Good is manageable, it's imaginable, it's relatable. Good is possible, good is hope, good is not a pipe dream. Good is right here, right now, is an inherent in each one of us. And if Hopkins is right, then we are constantly seeking our good, then she must be saying that we are seeking our true selves. That's what we're really doing in everything that we do. And that must also mean that looking for the good, asking for the good, means that we are looking inward and not to the outer appearances of the material world. When we look outward, we see disorder, discord, and lack of deservability. When we take our direction from the outer world, we push our good away from us because the outer world does not remember and so cannot acknowledge your inherent goodness. Claiming our good is not about prancing around saying, I'm special, get out of my way, my good's coming through here and it's more important than you. That is not what this is. It is our job to remember and honor who we are. Claiming your good, discovering your good, comes from remembering who you are. A bunch of atoms made from the same substance as every other thing in the universe. The one source is all of us, and we are all of it. And when we are open to our good, when we seek action, when we each see action in our good, we have our focus in the right place, in the absolute, the incomparable, the omnipresent all good, which some people call God or Spirit or the source or the force. Good, the positive, the uplifting, nurturing energy dwells within us as potential always. And the claim check never expires. Whether it is your material good, your emotional, psychological good, or spiritual good, you are constantly seeking it, and you will discover it. because the divinity that is you is present and active here, now, and always. And all you have to do is name it and claim it. And so it is. Reverend James is back. He'll be back next Sunday. And that is 4th of July weekend, so he is going to be looking at your roadmap to freedom. So we're excited to have him home. He's had some great time off, and he's refreshed, and I'm excited to hear what he has to say. And now this is our opportunity to support Spiritual Life Center. And if you are online and want to support our ministry and help spread our consciousness, you can click on like, share, comment, or subscribe, or whatever else the platform you're on asks you to do. And of course, you can always text SLC Love to 44321. You can also go to our website and click on the donate button there. And then, of course, you can always mail in a check or find other ways to donate. So for those of you here in the sanctuary, let us say our offering blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Telling me that I will be
and we'll leave you hanging. Unresolved, unfinished. That's what we are, unfinished stories, are we not?
And so we give thanks for the offerings. We know that they help support Spiritual Life Center, and the cycle of giving and receiving perpetuates and expands prosperity and brings us all much more than we ever could possibly ask for. And then we also bless the prayers in the prayer box, knowing that even before the question is asked, the answer is here, and that every person who asks and puts a prayer request is blessed with the perfect answer at the perfect time. And we send these prayers off to Silent Unity for another 30 days of prayer, knowing that this brings such a foundation to the prayer and giving its substance and brings it into materialization and manifestation in every way that possible, in many ways that we cannot ever imagine. And we are so very grateful, and we say, Amen. And let us, our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And now, our peace song.